And we'd rock this. Hello, hello, hello. Pronounce your name for me.
Zerago's fine. That's the most common one.
Okay.
It's supposed to be Zerago, but I'm okay with it.
Zerago. Hey, I'm down for Zerago. However, I mean, it's your name, right? I'm not gonna not pronounce your name.
No worries.
Thank you, Island, for the gifty. We are going to do a deck doctor today. Basically, what is going to happen is Zerago's going to give me the elevator pitch for Super Red Shigaraki deck, and we're going to go through and try and see what we can do to clean it up. It looks like this is a set 2 deck? Question mark.
Sure is, definitely.
I love that. So hit me with the elevator pitch of what do you got going on with this Shigaraki deck.
So the background is Shigi's been in my top 3 since the game came out. I played a lot of Death, and it was missing some stuff. I switched to Fire for about the last month of set 1 for the card draw, and that felt really good. I actually top 64'd in the regional.
Nice.
Which is really cool. And so now my number 1 goal with Crimson Rampage is to find out whether or not Evil can finally pull it off with the big boys.
Okay. I think that is completely and totally correct. I think that the Evil symbol has got a lot going for it. Strictly based on like what the format is saying. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna add just a bunch of cards into your sideboard, just to so that we can chat about it.
Yeah, go for it. I already had a handful there of secondary thoughts myself.
Correct. As we continue, because I think that my biggest issue with Evil decks, honestly, was I think that their defense was fragile. It wasn't the fact that their offense was bad; it's that their defense didn't know what it was doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, it was just really easy to just accidentally get kind of dumpstered, by just accidental things,
Yeah, definitely.
So hit me with the attack lineup. Nice Slice, Invincible Class, Merciless Rush, Turn to Dust, Tongue Whip. What do you got going on thought wise with these cards?
The starting point was pretty much just the good stuff that I could find.
Right.
It happened to come out no mid attacks, which is I guess just a benefit if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Forcing them to half block is perfectly fine with my +5. And it looks like they all got pretty strong blocks too. So it just seemed like just keep it nice, simple, streamlined to start, and then see what feels like it's missing over time.
Okay. I think that's totally fair. Foundation wise, I didn't see anything really crazy to include or not include. Here is what I have added that we get to chat about, right? So from Electromagnetic Stomp up was all the things that you put in, and then everything else is just things we got to talk about. So I want to talk about attacks first. First off, Net Gun Surprise. Incredible tool to put something speed to 0 or put something speed to 1 and then block it for free, respond with your face. It's also randomly a 3 mid for 3 that's got stun 2. It's got some really good synergies with him, with what he's got going on. The stun 2 is great, like a Turn to Dust that they have to full block with the stun 2, combined with the stun 2 on Net Gun Surprise that they have to. I mean, this is an 8 damage move in our character, right? That also on block is amazing, really really good. In addition to that, we've got Slashing Whirlwind. Oh, I totally missed a card. I want to talk about this card too. Okay. We've got Slashing Whirlwind and Double Blade Slash that are fantastic inside of Shigaraki, especially Double Blade Slash. I think this is actually his strongest attack that he gets out of set 2.
Really?
It's a 5 mid for 3 with stun 1. If it's blocked, which it will be, the next one gets stun 1. And then you lose 1 health, you're fine. Your opponent's next check to block this gets -1. So it's essentially a 6 mid for 8 with stun 1 that gives stun 1.
I keep going back and forth on this attack. In general, as its own thing, and in this deck. And I haven't really decided how I feel about it. but I do. When you put it that way, it does sound definitely worth trying.
Yeah, this card is very, very good, and I think it is better than what Invincible Clasp has going for it, specifically because your character says non-throw. After your non-throw attack deals damage. So it's got a 1 high block. This is a 4 diff, right? And like the biggest issue with Double Blade is the fact that it's a 5 diff, right? We got Knife Slice, Merciless, Turn to Dust, all as that 5 diff slot. And so we do need to figure out what we need to have going on, right? Which is why I like Slashing Whirlwind to do that same job as the 5 mid for 4. It's actually like a 5 mid for 9 in Shigaraki with that same 1 mid block. It kind of does the things that Turn to Dust wants to do, but as a 4 diff instead, right? Turn to Dust is a better card pound for pound. It's got way more words on it, but this card is accidentally very good at just getting that poke in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also kind of like the idea of keeping the clasps for the sake of feeding into that +10 in the long run, but it is a tight squeeze.
For sure. I think with like, this is 5 base speed. This is essentially 6 speed because of the stun 2. This is gonna stuff a card in their card pool. This is 5 speed. This is 5 speed. We're gonna get our pokes, man. We're gonna get our pokes.
I like it.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
The other attacks that we could talk about is just Corrosion Lunge. It's a fine opener, but I think with set 2, I think Knife Slice is probably just the better of the 2 openers. Knife Slice is just faster, so it can just be a poke all by its lonesome and just like swing for 10. It's a 5 low for 10, 11 because they lose the bonus with the enhance. And that's like great value. Hold the other 5 cards in your hand to do blocking stuff. And then go ahead.
I can't tell you how many times in the past week alone my corrosions have been double bonds of friendship. It just doesn't feel good anymore.
Correct. Oh, dude, I get that. I get that for sure. And the last attack we get to talk about is just Decaying Grip. This card is just Value Town. It might deserve a spot in the sideboard because of how the lack of Furies we're playing, right? I guess this is not a Fury, but this is a Fury. This is a Fury. So maybe it should go in the back of the main board. Shigaraki response: after you block this card, ready your character. Actually crazy. This card's not fair. Especially if there's anything that is mid. This card, if you look at your opponent and see that like it's nuts. Also, its combo enhance essentially says it can only be blocked by like plus ultra. Plus ultra is like the main thing that people hold for blocking. Or even like playing this at a 1 of and you check it, right? Like the power of this card is really like the fact that like the mind games behind this card is so good. Playing this card at just a 1 of and you check it and you look at your opponent and go, yeah, there might be 3 more of these that you just have to hold 3 mid blocks now, which is essentially just -1 hand size.
Yeah, that card has come in and out of my lists probably half a dozen times. I cannot make up my mind about it.
I think this card is a 1 of main board and then like 2 more in the sideboard if you've got the room, right?
That sounds like it's worth a try.
Because I think it's actually better as the mind games of somebody who's paying attention to what you're doing. They see that move checked and they're like, well, I don't want to just take 9 for free because that's like a lot. That is half my health as a 7 hand size character, and so like I have to respect this card enough to like hold an out to it.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah. Foundation wise, no sticky balls? ?
Only because it's competing with Exciter for Blood.
Fair.
I don't know how many 3s is safe to run.
That's fair. No Apathetic?
Used to run it a lot, and I've liked it less and less over time. I'm not really sure why. Could be the forecheck. Could just be that, at least with the Fire deck, I leaned a lot more into just blowing stuff up, so flipping wasn't as important.
Right. I think Apathetic, being able to flip over my opponent's $180 Excited for Blood XRs and making them laugh is worth it.
Yeah,
but
it probably does get some stock back for sure.
We will see. Super Regen.
Also, in my head, I feel like it's overkill with Excited now in the game.
Fair.
I feel like that's enough of a reason to not want to run a 4 high block.
Okay, I think that's totally fair. And then my last one is In the Typhoon.
That has saved me before.
In the Typhoon
I forgot that was an evil card. So that's
one of the funniest Shigaraki cards of all time.
Yeah.
I'll remove mine, discard 2 cards, and blow up one of your foundations.
Yeah, that was in my fire lineup. That saved me a few games.
Yeah. So here's my professional opinion. You're not running 2 checks. You can run as many 3s as you want.
Oh, okay.
If you're running 2 checks, it becomes way scarier. And it is okay to be like, if you have an Excited for Blood and a sticky balls in your hand, just lay down the if you, let's say you go first, right? Play the sticky balls, play the 2, play the 1, play the 0, hold the Excited for Blood. On your next turn, just draw up. Don't go for the poke. Play the Excited for Blood. Play out your next line. Keep 2 cards. Build 4 twice, and now you're just set up for the game, and you have both, right? Like, this says that you don't get swung on early. Like sticky balls plus Evil Gaze says that you breaker 1 them the whole turn, and you say that you just selectively destroy a foundation, and you get to destroy another one. Like, what do? They just lose, right? Like, that's just as good as the breaker 2 destroy 1 that Shigaraki can do under both fire and death. That's just as good.
I like that.
Yeah. So I think that we easily. I mean, how many Excited for Bloods do you have to play? Because like this is your deck, it's not my deck, and so making sure that like you're happy with these numbers is what's important.
Yeah, I just know that card's going to be so good, but I could see 3 being a good standard for that card.
That is where I'm at. I'm at 3 and 3. You could get away with like a 3 and 2 if you want to be just like slightly more aggressive, and if you're not worried about these turn 2 decks, which I think that the format is going to slow down. I do believe the format's going to slow down. I think throw decks are going to take over for at least Vegas, right? I think Vegas is going to be very throw heavy. It's going to be very Cementos heavy. It's going to be very Moneta 2 heavy. And people are going to learn this control game. And so I think mid-range is just going to go by the wayside, and either you're killing your opponent on turn 2 or you're trying to kill your opponent on turn 7. And that's just how it works.
That sounds better to me than set 1, at least.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of aggro decks just killing each other. Hero Killer. I think this card's insane. I love this card.
Yeah.
It is nuts, and I think that this is the other like both of these cards combined inside a Stains kit makes these 3 symbols like hella playable. They're so good.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, like these 2 cards in conjunction with each other of like hurting my opponent's stage and then saying that they can't play attacks is nuts. Nervous Habit. 3 of?
It's an old habit, pun intended. Just it went well in the fire deck to just keep popping foundations when they tried to do stuff.
Yeah.
Are you thinking it'd be higher?
I think it should be lower. I think it should be a 2 of.
Lower, okay.
Think so. As we get more cards, we should be spreading out our foundation lineup to take in these bonus cards, right? Like we've lost Nervous Habit slots because we've put in Challenge in the fake slots. This is an aggro card. This is a defense disruption card, right?
I'm totally down for that.
And so like and if we need to, you ready? And here's the beauty of sideboards. You sideboard 1 of each of these cards, and as you feel like in the matchup you're fighting off against Nomu, you don't want Challenge in the fakes, you want Nervous Habit to make sure that like your 6 damage move gets through. And so you take out 1 challenging, you put in 1 Nervous Habit. Now this is a 1 then 3, right? And sideboards are going to start becoming a bunch of 1-ofs like if you've already tossed in here, right?
Yeah.
I want to actually go back to the attack lineup because I think actually the attack lineup should look very similar to our foundation lineup of like spreading out our options to the point of like we could put Turn to Dust in at the 3. We could put Merciless Rush down to a 2. We could have Clasp in here at a 2 and have the 4 Double Blade Slash. And so now I've increased the range of our attacks, like the jobs and utility of our attacks, but I haven't lowered the count at all. Maybe I lowered it by 1 with the Turn to Dust. But like this could be here, and like the Decaying Grip could go back to a 1 of, right? Mm-hmm. Or if you like Turn to Dust better than Knife Slice, you could switch those 2 options. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, this looks great. Usually my fatal flaw in card games is I don't focus enough on certain things. I usually like to do 2 and 3 of stuff. So if you're telling me I can get away with that now, then I love everything.
Not only do I think you can get away with that, I think you should try to get away with that. The format just opened up so much. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I have asked my Patreon people as a perk to do it. If you want to see me run a deck on stream, to submit a deck. And I had to write out, literally, there are 170 options for decks right now that can be played under every character, all 3 symbols, and that doesn't include the packages inside the decks. So that's 170 decks minimum, right?
Yeah,
like,
that is a lot.
an evil weapon deck versus an evil fury deck, they look different. All punches versus all combo versus all weapon. Those are 3 separate all decks that can exist. Don't get me started on the order symbol. like there's so much there's so much diversity inside of the symbols themselves that you have to be ready for. I kid you not, I think 50 decks could go in top and possibly win in Vegas. I believe that. Whether it be characters or symbols or whatever, but there's 50 different options that you need to be prepared for, and sometimes, Turnitus isn't going to get there, right? And so that's where we have Decaying Grip to help us out. That's why we have Invincible Class to help us out. We have Nice Life. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We said that we don't like Corrosion, and I agree. I think this card is a relic of the past. I like Slashing Whirlwind, and if you feel like you are not getting your attacks through, I would maybe look at changing that for like the Decaying Grip or maybe the Mercilesses. Maybe, I don't know. This card this card just feels very good as just like a 5-speed move. 5 for 9 feels great.
Yeah,
but I think
I'll definitely give it a try.
Yeah.
I think Merciless keeps showing up because low blocks are the one crippling part of evil, right?
Correct. That were at least, right? Like it
was, yeah.
Pseudo fixed that
abysmal anymore.
with like Rooftop and Fruits of Our Labor. All right, these are beautiful, beautiful low blocks. This card's actually very good. It is a very basic. It's a basic bitch card, but it gets you there.
Yeah, definitely.
All in all, I like this attack lineup. I think the only thing that I could maybe change is if you could find a replacement for this Invincible Clasp in order to be able to trigger your Shigaraki response on it. I'm in. But it needs to probably be a high block because as we look at our block zones, we've gone back to, we've got 8 here, 6 here. Oh, sorry. We've got 6 here, 6 here, and then 8 in the middle, right? So now our block zones have gone back to being even as opposed to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sounds
but
good.
I think this card's fine. I don't think this card is mandatory. It does have a beautiful response. We got a very good response.
Yeah, turning off Walkling sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, this card just doesn't quite work with our character, and that's fine. That's fine. As long as we're down for that. Actions. Love the Evil Gaze. Love the Plus Ultra. Love the Blood Curdle on the sideboard. Have you pulled one?
Not yet, no.
Me neither.
This is something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think this card's very, very good. Not only because of the response of like all these Gran Torinos that are gonna be running around, of like just like snapping that one of those foundations and back down, but also just like, hey, commit your character. I don't want to deal with you, right? Like imagine committing a Cement Toss and they don't get to re-ready their board, and like this lineup of like Knife Slice and Double Blade Slash, and part of the main reason that I like Slashing Whirlwind is it turns on your Hero Killer Deadlock a little better. That all of your weapons gain stun too. So like the way the fight Shigaraki is they go to Deadlock, right? Well, now you've got some really high impact Deadlock as long as you're running more of a whatever. It's like running a weapon backup.
That's a cool idea. Yeah.
To the point where I want to say that like in my Shigaraki, I'm actually playing the other stain block, the other stain attack, like the 2i for 5.
Oh, the Descent?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. It just slams. It forces a high block every turn, and that card hits for 1 million in him. Like it hits for actually 1 million. Like it starts at 5, it gets +2, burns 1, and then burn 5. Like if they partial it, they just like lose their whole life total, and it's just a 1 high block weapon. But it is certainly risky, and it feels really good to put like an Evil Gaze on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just an option, not the option. An option.
Definitely.
Foundation wise though, I like what you've got going on. I would reduce some of these numbers, like Creepy Realization. I would cut down to like a 2 of, and maybe sideboard 1, sideboard the 2 if you really feel like you need it. I think Classmates sucks. I think Classmates is not a very good card.
Yeah, I'm iffy on it every time too.
I would probably just like want to put in like 1 in the Typhoon, or maybe even like if you wanted to, if you want that speed, put back in Nervous Habit. They have to block you, man. They have to. So this card's only ever live during the first move.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I if with your permission, I would love to cut this card.
Yeah, let's bring Nervous Habit back.
Yeah,
like
I'm done with it. So we're gonna do 1 of this, And then I want to do one in the Typhoon because I think card pull stuffing is going to still be prevalent, and this is a card that gets to kind of save your life. Yeah, now we got 6 3s, and I think going much further past that is going to be a mistake, but I think 6 3 diffs is going to be fine. I think it'll be okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Matsu in the chat says classmates is cracked multiples. Correct. I think that's like a 4x or a 0x. Yeah, it's rough. I'd never played a less than 4 if you're gonna play it. 100%, Matsu. Yeah. It's a 4 of or 0 of. There's no home in between.
0 it is.
Yeah, 0 it is.
Did you mean nervous to be back at 3?
I did. Did I put it at 1? Whoops.
Yeah, just UVS stuff.
What number are we at? We're at 64. How big is this number allowed to get? How small is this number allowed to get?
I almost always build in the low 60s.
I love that. Hey,
so, but yeah, I'm flexible.
A man of culture.
Yeah.
I could see dropping a keen observation down to a 3 of. I could see that just to get our numbers down just a little bit.
Okay.
Just because like we want to be like really low 60s. I think like 62 is probably where it's at. Because like if you had a move that said enhance flip this for +1 damage, it's like not great. It's not great. I think this card like feels like a lot of icing on the cake, especially with things like Knife Slice and Shigaraki and so on and so forth. It's just really good spam. But we inside of this symbol, we've got Keen and Desperate and Surviving all as high blocks, right? 3 high, 3 high, 2 high. Like the reason that this part is so good is because it's a 2 high block and not the 3s here, right? Like that's the important part of this card. Flip for accidentally 1 damage. Like there's just better things that we can do, especially when our character is like 5 times that, right?
Okay.
The percentage I just don't think is right there. This is set 1 habits, and chat's blowing me up, but it's 10 life with knife in your character. Yeah, but it's not though. It's literally flip for +1 damage. That's not a card that you would play. If this card said enhance flip for +1 damage, nobody would play this card. It's okay. Sure, chat. I don't think we need advice for winners. I don't think this card is too good. I think if we wanted to play it, we would play it. I think this card is crazy. I think this card is going to be insane for Evil Tokoyami.
Right.
Because it essentially is +2 to your check, which he loves. He loves that on a turn that he doesn't find 1,000 Dark Shadows. I don't think that on our hit them 1 time, play solid defense, hit them a second time, play solid defense, hit 1 more time, play solid defense is where it's at.
Yeah, it'll probably be like another month before I have them anyway.
Fair.
So I'll just forget about it.
Yeah. Why not run check better card? Because I think you just like it just doesn't. It's okay. It's iffy. It's fine. It's not great. There's better card quality here. I love first villain encounter. I think it's a good deadlock threat, but the question is would you rather first villain encounter somebody, or would you rather have the hero killer, right? Because they take that same 2/5 high block slot. This is a flip. This is a remove, and so like there's that.
I figured there's not enough range in here to really justify it either.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of came along with Tomura as a consideration.
Yeah, the last card that we did really talk about is just like box full of babies. If you want to like really sell out to the weapon thing, giving your weapons an extra plus speed as well as that cycle card is really cool. Currently, because we're running things like Invincible Clasp and the Merciless Rush and the Tongue Whip, we can't like fully sell out to the weapon package, and so it's fine there, right? But like it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I'll consider 1 or 2 probably if more weapons come in, but
yeah, I think like if we get like regional promos and like there's like a really baller weapon, or if you want to be a man and like replace this Merciless Rush with 2 of the 1 check, right? The secret rare.
Oh man.
I think that I'm in for that.
That's going to be a scary day.
Yeah. Yeah. All in all, I think like this is at least a good starting point. I think this is a totally fine starting point. My personal opinion is I'm down to cut 2 creepies if we could find something like Dissolving the Conflict is like a really neat card. I love this card. I think this card's cracked.
It looks really cool, yeah.
Yeah, the power of remove after they play an attack, add it to their hand as I'm destroying foundations and so on and so forth is very cool.
Yeah, hopefully I get my hands on a few.
Trying to look if there's anything else. Yeah, the only thing that I don't love about the deck is like there's 2 creepies here. We could even just like cut them, see what that does to our deck count. 61 feels great. Literally a third of our deck is attacks, so like finding 3-4 attacks inside of a turn is not too terrible as for
actually looks
sculpting.
really good.
And then just toss at least one of these creepies in the sideboard, because like a lot of decks want a lot of decks want to keep their card pool as clear as possible, right? Like you got Torino, you got Achaku, you got Atsui, and those characters are still going to exist. And so Creepy is not going to touch them. And I think we're going to see a lot of those characters in set 2 still. Like there's still even like the Asui that has won the past couple regionals, right? Like that Asui is still going to be incredibly good in the next sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can be ready for that.
Yeah. All right, man. Anything that you vehemently disagree with here?
Nope, this was all cool ideas. I came in hoping for a couple of extra thoughts to shake it up a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, the streamlined 4 of attacks is definitely against my usual habits. So I like the mix we got going on here.
And like it's a new format. And I'm gonna say this to everybody who comes on stream today. It's a new format. Play a bunch of different one fun 2s, 3-0s, and see like, yo, this clasp is really cool when I see it. Maybe I do want to increase it. Or man, this clasp is not feeling very great. I should pull it back down to a 1, or even cut the card entirely. Right. Yep. The wider of a net that you can cast, the more different types of testing you get to have in. You know.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the support over on Patreon. Stay on the call as we end the video, and I'll shoot the list over to you. And once again, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. This is very fun.
Thank you too. Yeah, likewise.
We'll see ya.